Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and I wanted to jump straight into my next project. I was thinking of putting together a masculine, I guess, junk journal or memory journal. I'm making this for my husband, my dear sweet husband, for Father's Day. He is not the father of my children, but he did step in a big way and has had a very positive impact on me and my girls. And he is the father of our fur baby, the puppy Menace. And so I wanted to put together something for him. And I was thinking maybe a little bit of a memory journal from our time together so far. We've been together since 2020. It is a COVID relationship. So let's see. And we've been together since 2020. We've been married. We married in 2022. So just a little over 3 years. Um, if any of you recognize this, this is a Tim Holtz binding kit, and it was the little ruler, and then you've got the screws. I took a class from him way back in the day when I think these were first introduced. It was, oh my gosh, it was ages ago. My youngest was a baby when I took that class, and she is now 15 and a half. So yeah, it had to have been close to 14, 15 years ago. So anyway, I have one of these that I have had in my stash forever, and it's, to me, it kind of reads a little masculine or vintage. And so I wanted to do this. The project we did with this was using tags. And so I thought, oh, that'll be a quick little thing to do. And then I quickly changed my mind because Puppy Menace is forcing my hand here. I heard a commotion in my studio, and I came in and she had gotten into my collection of gift bags. So I have a bag in my studio that houses all the used gift bags that we have received over the years, and we pull on those and recycle them, upcycle them, whatever, to use for gifts for other people. But she got into the bag, was having a grand time with this, and proceeded to tear it up. And of course, I couldn't toss it. And so I thought, I think that I will use this as the base of my journal. It's a little bit bigger, and I was thinking of using the large tags anyway that were going to be quite long. So I actually want to keep the length on this. I do want this to be pretty long. And so I thought the size of this is good. This will be the first time I'm doing a gift bag like this. I've done paper bags before. The paper bag that I did was the old traditional one, and I haven't finished it yet. Okay, I wanted to pull it out. I've done a couple of these paper bag journals, these type right here, where you glue these little paper bags together, you trim them up, and you've got all the pockets and everything. This is a project to come. I started this forever ago, and I need to finish it. I'm collecting stuff for it. So that is my Twilight journal, and I'll finish that one of these months. Maybe I'll pull it out for Halloween. I don't know. Anyhow, I have done those, but I haven't done one specifically out of a bag like this, or a bag with handles. I don't think that my husband would appreciate the handles, so those are going to come off. But anyhow, I'm just going to go for it. I don't quite have a plan here, so we're just going to work it. I sometimes do prototypes for things that I'm going to do. A lot of times it just happens, or things that I'm going to video. A lot of times it happens because I'm just playing around, and then I've created something and I'm like, oh, I should share this. And then other times I have no plan and I'm going to just play around. So anyhow, let's go ahead and disassemble this. I'm kind of thinking I will keep this. Yes, and either that'll be the front or the back. I think it might be the front. It could be the back. I don't know. Okay, so what I'm thinking is that this will just open, right? And that this is where the where she had fun here, that this is where the actual binding will be. And that, I don't know if this is front or back, but this might be a pocket here. Yes. And it'll open like this. So let's kind of get started. So if you have a smallish gift bag, then go ahead and pull it out and we can do this together. I'm going to cut right down this seam. I'm going to go all the way down to the edge. Yes. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same right down this seam all the way down to the edge. I want to get it kind of opened up and laid out so I can get a better idea of, what I'm going to do here. Okay, now I think I'm going to have to cut. I hope I'm doing this right. Okay, I'm going to have to cut these I don't want that to come off. I know a lot of people traditionally remove that bottom, but I think I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to try to keep it, you know, intact. And this is just an awkward cut here. Okay. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to trim all the way to the edge. And fingers crossed, if this doesn't work, then it doesn't work and we'll figure out a way to fix it. We'll fix it. It will work. Let's be positive. It will work and it will be fine. Okay, so we've got it laid open. She really had a good time there. And unfortunately, that's where I'm going to do my binding. So I am going to have to reinforce that quite a bit, I think. So here we go. So my thought is, well, you know what? If I have it fold up this direction, nope. Okay. Now that I've deconstructed it, no, it does fold up this direction. So I don't know that I could have it fold the other direction because it tends to want to go that way anyway. So let me see. It's got a fold line, so I know it can do it. It just doesn't want to. So if I have it fold up this direction and just kind of change things on it, it doesn't feel natural, but I know that I can get my bone folder in there and do that. Then that will no longer be the area where I'm doing my binding, and that will be better. That will be better. Okay, so we're going to go that direction. So let me reinforce this crease here. Let me grab my bone folder, and is that it? That is the crease. Let me kind of reinforce that this is the direction that it's going to go. Okay. So it will look like this, and it will open like this. Yes? Okay. So then let's get rid of everything that we don't need and start getting stuff kind of glued down. So let's first of all open this. We don't need this because I don't think that he'd appreciate the handles. He's not going to carry it around like a purse. Although that is a really cute idea, and I may come back and do another one. You know, okay, that's not good. I may come back. Well, that's why, because there is a section there. Okay. I may come back and do another one. So this was actually underneath. So this overlaps and this was underneath. So we're going to have to fix that. So be careful as you're taking off your handles. All right. I'm talking and not paying attention. See the way the paper or the way the handle was in here? It was underneath this seam and I pulled it all off. So I'm going to try to get off as much paper as possible. These are also really inexpensive, like Dollar Tree, dollar store bags. If you have something that's a little sturdier, that's probably better. These are super, super thin. So I was actually worried that I would tear the paper, you know, on this main part. And I did not. I got it here. So let's see what we can do. Let me grab. All of this is going to be covered, so that is fine. But let me grab my glue and put this back. We'll just put it back. And then let me grab some washi. All right, just grab some random washi. If I can get them all together, all of the bits together, then it'll start. There we go. Goodness, that was a struggle. Okay, we pop that in the trash, get my wet glue. I don't trust washi to actually stay down. So let's see. I am going to glue this and then put my washi right on top and patch this. I'm going to trim this here. Hope you can see it, and I'm not quite going off the edge there. Out of frame. I'm good about doing that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just do the other side, reinforce it. And washi's so super thin, It's not going to raise any issues as far as covering it and all of that. And then this one, look, I am going to fold that over. So now I have a nice starting place for next time, right? Because that is the smart thing to do. We don't always do the smart thing. We like to do the most difficult thing. Okay. Let me trim this up a little bit more, make it nice and even. Okay. Crisis averted. So let's move on to the second side. I'm going to remove this handle. I'm going to be a lot more delicate with this one. This one is not tucked up under a seam though, so that's good for me. So I won't rip that off. All right. So I do like the idea of the handles. I think that that is really cute. I may go back and do one with the handles, you know, later at another time. So I can put them back on the bag. Okay. All right. So we reinforce this fold. This is where, nope. This is where it is going to fold up. So this is going to be, there we go. This is going to be the front of my journal. Let's figure out what we need to do here. So if I've got it laid open, it's almost like you would do like with a book or with chipboard. So let's just kind of go that route, right? Let's just do that. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. It already looks like it's semi-mitered for me anyway. Yep. And should I just leave that? Maybe I should leave that. This is on an inside fold. That's why I want to go ahead and miter that. And since these are folded here anyway, that's probably a good place to do that. Because if I'm going to fold this way, I don't want it to get caught up there. But these are going to be at the ends, so I'm fine with those going straight. So what we're going to do is go ahead and glue these down, which will be nice because then I've got, because this is so super thin, then I've got the extra along the edges here that is going to help reinforce that. So let's get this glue stick. I'm using the Yoo-Hoo stick. That's what or Yoo-Hoo, I don't know. That is what I've been using. I'm not in love with this. I've used the blue one before, and I liked it. And then after a while, I noticed that it would start to dry up on me fairly quickly and became kind of gummy when I would use it. And so I switched to this one, and I'm just not loving, I'm not loving this formula. If anyone has a better one that they can recommend, I'm all for it. Okay, let me clear some of this bit of trash off my space here. There we go. And what will we do here? Will I do the same thing on this side? So it is going to look like this. So I don't need like all this extra in here. So I can actually just, well, yeah, I'll just go ahead and miter these too. I will just miter these as well. And it's really simple to do this because it's already folded. So if you just cut right along that folded line, then that's it makes it super easy. So let's try. I'm just trying to get rid of kind of the excess bulk in there. And I think it feels good. I just didn't want it to be like too bulky. And I don't think that that is. You know, honestly, I guess I could get rid of the rest of that. We're going to go ahead and do that. I am actually going to cut straight down this way and just get rid of the rest of this bulk. Because I'm going to cover all of this in papers anyway. And I feel like, you know, 2 plies is probably enough to help reinforce this anyhow. Okay. And then we're up on this edge, so I'm going to miter these edges. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, let's go ahead and get these down. Use my glue. I don't think that I've ever done a really masculine, like junk journal type project before. I've made some masculine cards. I did a mixed media project. When my father passed, he was an iron worker. And when he passed, we had, the sisters and I, he didn't have a whole lot, you know, left. He always lived with one of us, and then in the end was in assisted living. And I was quite young when he passed, 2021. He'd had some health issues for a while, and so it was, you know, it was far too young to lose your father. But it was a blessing because he was no longer suffering or in pain, you know, kind of a mixed bag. Anyhow, so I did do a mixed media project for him. He was an iron worker, and my sister, you know, kind of divvied up the things that we had. He was a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, and at some point, my then husband and I had purchased a really nice throw blanket for him. He had to have a weekly medical procedure, and it was very cold in the place, and so we got him a blanket, and so that was what I took and still have. My sister got his belt. His ironworker's belt, and we thought, it has the big metal spool on it, I guess, where they would hook up because they're working high, so they would hook up to secure themselves, is what I'm guessing that kind of belt was. And so she ended up getting that, and we ended up because we thought, how would she display this in a way that was, you know, that was going to be good. And I'm getting way off topic, sorry. You know, that was going to look nice and aesthetically pleasing. And so we ended up screwing it onto a board. So I did a whole effect on this large piece of wooden board. Did some distressing and stenciling and staining and stuff, and then we screwed it on, and then I took some really large nails, decorative nails, like the square ones, and hammered it into some of the belt holes, and she hung it up, and we put his name and his date of birth and date of death on it, and it's now like hooks where she can hang things from it, so like keys or whatever, and she has it displayed in her house. But anyhow, so I did that. That was a masculine project, but this is the first one I'm doing that's like uber masculine. So moving on, because I'm chatty today. I'm kind of talking a lot. Okay, now I want to permanently glue this part down, right? Yes. So it's going to look like this. Let's go ahead and permanently glue that section down. So it's this guy here. I think we've trimmed up everything that we can. And I kind of wonder if I should do like some tape or some washi there too, just to kind of give that a nice solid base, which I think I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go ahead and do that here. It's a bit ragged. It doesn't quite meet, but we're going to go ahead and try anyway to cover some of this up. There we go. Let me trim this. All right. And then I'm going to add just some of that wet glue. I really want this to stick. And then there we go. And then see, it was coming through. So I'm glad I picked that up fairly quickly, because otherwise that would have been glued down, and that is not what we want. So let's get this side and this side. I'll do this. And then fold it over. There we go. And then trim. And then fold this over again to make it easier to get at my washi. Let me put the stopper on this. I'll probably do this in several parts. That way it's not incredibly long. My videos tend to get kind of long anyway. I have a high need to know, and so then I have a high need to share. I'm gonna share all the details with you guys. Okay, so this is our base. I think I'm going to go through and just kind of trim up some of these little raggedy edges. That looks good. This one is kind of raggedy here. Okay. So it looks good. Looks good, right? Okay. Still didn't manage to get everything, but it's okay. Okay, so there's our base. There is our base. Is this down good? I feel like this isn't down as well as I would like for it to be. Okay. So this is where I'm going to be doing the actual binding. And I think that I'm going to go ahead and miter these as well, so that they don't get in the way of that fold. But then I'm also going to reinforce this area. Let me go ahead and glue down all of these little edges. But I do need to reinforce this whole area. So let me get, you could use washi for this. I'm going to use some of this bookbinding tape because this is where I'm actually going to do the stitching. So I am going to use the bookbinding tape right along there. Is that about right? That's about right. I got this off of Amazon. It's like the linen kind of feel tape. So it's right there. Make sure that it's nice and creased because this is quite thick. And when I put it in there, I want it to, you know, fold correctly so that my, my bookends meet evenly. All right, but you can use washi in this section. If you do use washi in this section, I would do front and back, and I would use, you know, the glue with it, but I would go ahead and put like a thick piece of washi on one side and then flip it over and do it on the other side. This is pretty sturdy, so I'm just going to do it on this one side on mine, but this is actual, you know, bookbinding tape, and it's a lot thicker, a lot sturdier than the washi. So again, if you're doing this along with me, I recommend that you do washi on the front and back. You don't need all the expensive stuff. You don't want to use all the expensive stuff anyway on a dollar paper bag. Okay, now let's see if I can get this folded. Get to fold back up. So I'm going to line up these edges. Ish. And get that to fold down properly. Okay. And there we go. I hope that I didn't glue anything down too soon. I'm kind of worried that I might have glued this down too soon since I'm not sure how I'm going to wrap that yet. But we'll see. So we'll come back in part 2 and we'll choose the papers and start actually covering this. Like I said, I wanted to kind of keep these short, a little short and sweet, so that they're a little bit easier to digest. So this is part 1. This is the base. I hope that you guys will grab your inexpensive gift bag and maybe try this along with me. Anyhow, if you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer those as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. I'm trying to hit the 3,000 subscribers mark. That is my next goal, and I'm hoping to do that, you know, by the middle of this month. So I would really appreciate your support. And to everyone who is a frequent commenter, I have several. I need to be better about actually writing down your names and recognizing you. So maybe I'll do that in the next video. But I do appreciate your support, appreciate your comments and your shares. And until next time, bye.